Shall we begin?
You aren't stuck in traffic. You are traffic.
Let's begin now.
Please get that bicycle-shaped object out of this shop. Oh no, dude. No mix and match here. Black bottoms or full-on kit. Pedal on, bro. Pedal on.
Let's begin now.
Oh, geez. Learn the hard way. Wider is better.
Today is Friday, January 25th, 2019. You just downloaded and are listening to Bike Shop CX. Thanks for listening. Thanks for downloading, everyone. Music I'm using on today's show is Bijou by Philly Run. As always, you can get this tune at the Free Music Archive where you can download it for free. Yeah, so sorry, the show's been put out a little bit later in the day this week because basically... We talk about how the weather we've been having here in Michigan, and I basically yesterday spent the entire day, which I would normally be editing the show and getting it ready so I could post it first thing in the morning. I spent the entire day trying to make my driveway drivable. I dumped, but I needed to use 175 pounds of rock salt. So I know that sounds crazy. My driveway is dirt, and it's about 1/10 of a mile long, and it has a hill. My house is up on a hill, so the hill is just unpassable. It's only happened like twice in the 14 years that we've lived here, but basically I had a inch-thick ice river all the way down, or at least long way down, my driveway, and there was just being on dirt. The salt doesn't work like it does on concrete, so you need a lot more of it, and there's no way to plow it. It's just too thick. We do have a service that comes and does that, but yeah, it's one of those few times. Like I said, I think this is the second time in 14 years, and yeah, it just took me all day long. But without it, I don't get mail and all that stuff. So yeah, that was my day yesterday, and so it pushed the show back a little bit. I had to actually edit it this morning. Dave and I recorded it a few days ago, luckily, so all that stuff is good. And what are we going to talk about on the show today? We are going to talk about, only had a couple of viewer questions, so we get to those. We're going to talk about stems and the difference in the stem measurements that you might be looking at as you think about what your bikes are going to be doing for cyclocross next year. And we talk about what are you working on, of course. We also mentioned a new contest we have coming out with Grimpeur Bros. And I just want to say we forgot to mention when we recorded that the length that we would be doing this for. This is going to be a quick one, right? So if you want to get in on this, you got to get in on it quick. So by the next show, we're going to be looking at anybody that has submitted Instagram pictures. We're going to be looking at them at the next show and picking a winner. So if you want to do this, you got to get it in right now. We're trying to get it in before Worlds. So there you go. All right. I think that's just enough of my yapping. Let's get on with it. The Bike Shop is open. All right, and we are back for another edition of Bike Shop. See, that's what a compressor would be used for. With me, as always,
Mr. David Palan.
What's going on?
How are you, sir?
Having a wonderful time. We just did a TDDTIE yesterday.
Yeah, we did.
For people in the know.
Yeah, and now everyone will know because it didn't come out immediately, which is usually the case. As our voices are cooling off, things being put out on the interwebs.
There was a waiting period.
Yeah.
So, and now we're here to do Bike Shop CX. So,
Bike Shop CX.
What are you? And so that people know, it's freaking cold.
Yeah, I looked at my phone yesterday, and we'll come up a little bit about this and what I'm working on. But it was negative 10 degrees.
Yeah, I think when we recorded yesterday...
That's Fahrenheit for our viewers.
I said to Bill, I'm like, dude, it's warmed up to -6.
Yeah.
So not a lot of riding getting done there. Fat bike. I think even the fat bike riders are like, "Ooh,
Yeah.
it's kind of cool."
Yeah, but friend of the show.
Don't tell me Dr. Tracy Berman is riding.
No, well, she's riding inside.
Inside,
and she's
okay.
commuting still. I mean, she's a commuter. She doesn't have a choice on that. But you remember Jesse Ramsey?
Yeah.
He's still riding out there, man. He's camping out in this weather. He's getting ready for another Arrowhead 145.
Nice. That's a cool ride. I like that ride.
Yeah.
That's got some serious.
I mean, I have tremendous respect for the guys that do that and women that do that.
I would never want to do it, but it's a. I think remember the year Jordan Wakely won. There was like a 3-up fat bike sprint
At the end.
to the line.
Yeah.
And not just fat bike, but they're loaded because you have to. It's required that you carry a certain amount of gear in case you have a problem.
Yep.
You don't freeze to death.
Yep.
And 3-up fat bike sprint on loaded fat bikes. There was stuff swinging and swaying every which way.
Yeah. And those guys like their gear too, for sure.
Yeah,
right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
So
Jesse was telling me one year he did it. He got passed by a skier. He was driving him crazy. He kept seeing these snow tracks.
So in case people wonder, it's a bike race, a cross country ski race, and I think a
running race,
running race too. And they all go, and it's 3 different categories, but you're all on the course at the same time.
Yeah, and
right?
it's point to point in northern Minnesota in late February.
I think the cyclists are usually the first finishers, and then the skiers, obviously, and then but it's 145 miles. So
145 miles in February
that's
in Minnesota.
no joke on foot.
Yeah. Hopefully you finish with all of your
Extremities.
toes and extremities. Yeah,
Right.
They have required, like you said, it required gear list and
You have
required
to
number
carry-
of calories you have to show them that
I was
you're
just
carrying.
gonna say that you have to carry a certain number of calories in case you got stranded. You basically have to be able to survive for a certain amount of time with no assistance
Until it thaws, I think.
because they might not find you. So, all right, Mr. David Palan.
Yes,
Well,
sir.
besides all that, I have a great question for you.
I think I'm studied up on this one. Go ahead.
What are you working on?
All right. You mentioned it's cold out, and I don't know that I mentioned on the show previously that I was kind of off the bike for a little bit because dealing with some shoulder issues. But
Yes.
I have been working on spin class. So now, all the people that are dichotomous, right? You have your SPD people, your Crank Brothers people. You have your recumbent people. You have your standard bike people.
Right.
You have your triathlete people. You have your non-triathlete people. We love dichotomies in cycling, right?
Right.
We have all the people that hate on spin bikes.
Right. Yeah.
I'm a spin instructor now. I'm teaching a spin class.
So, if people want to take your spin class, where do they show up?
They show up at LA Fitness in Ann Arbor, Michigan.
Do you wear like 80s get up for LA Fitness? Did they start come into business like in the 80s?
Oh, you're gonna press me
You
on?
gotta show up in like colored neon colored tights and stuff.
See, there's the hating I'm talking about, right? There you go. Elizabeth Newton-John, or what's her name there?
Elizabeth.
Yeah.
Some high top white Reeboks.
I'm a maniac, I know. Yeah.
No, but we make fun, but we're just kidding.
No, you
we're
make
just
fun.
teasing. We're just this is something pretty interesting. In Adrian, 2 years ago, we had this woman come in who was full-on, full-time spin instructor, fit as can be, strong, but
as opposed to me,
but never rode on the road. I mean, spinning was her thing, right?
Yeah, yep.
And so she wanted to get a bike. So it was really weird. We got her hooked up on this
a fixie, I
this
hope.
Cannondale. No, she wanted to do a charity ride, like a 100-mile charity ride, and having virtually no road experience since she was a kid, right?
Yeah.
And it was just this weird combination of somebody who is incredibly strong, but has no road skills at all.
Right, yeah. And in
It
some
was
sense,
a
that's kind of
weird-
dangerous.
It was.
Yeah.
I had to really be like, you need to really be careful.
Because she'll probably ride for like 4 minutes at a pretty constant high cadence.
Yeah.
And then she wants to stand up and dance on the pedals, swing her arms around. Yeah, I know. No, yeah.
What kind of class is it? What do you guys?
I'll tell you, 5:45 a.m. Mondays and Fridays, the courses I teach.
Mm-hmm.
And I went into it and I'm letting people know it's just really about getting your heart rate up, and it's not going to be super structured.
Yeah.
It's good music, good time, have fun, and get the heart rate up.
I love it.
In the first class went great. It's brand new. Gym just opened. They had one at the Briarwood location. They closed that one down, opened it up.
Yeah.
And the previous location did not have bikes. Now this one has a bike studio, and we had 3 people show up at 5:45
For the first day.
Yep, 5 people when I left. I was kind of expecting people to walk out.
Some walked in a little late.
Yeah,
the 5:45 kind of hit them a little. Or were they just late, or were they like at the gym and
I think they're at the gym and said,
"That's Mr. David Palan."
I think that was more what it was.
Get in on this.
Yeah. Yeah. I think that's what it was.
So if you are in this area and
come
you
on
want to
by,
do it, come on by.
Yeah,
come ride with. You don't need this. I
was actually wearing
this newfangled thing that all the kids are using on the internet when they
bikes.
When they ride on the trainers.
Pelotons.
That and the
Swift.
Swift. You don't need all that newfangled stuff. You just show up to LA Fitness.
We have
Monday,
some newfangled
Friday
stuff.
At 5:45. Oh yeah, I'm sure cutting edge, like high tech stuff. But it's face to face, man.
It is indeed.
There you
and
go.
it's a lot more fun to ride with people than to ride alone. Whether you're on the roads or not,
especially on a spin bike or a trainer.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Because I was starting to,
and so before people start emailing, I think Zwift is awesome. I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
Okay. Go ahead.
Yeah. Look for more stuff about Zwift too, because there's talk about Zwift out
I think
there.
There's some wide angle podium stuff.
There is some talk. Now maybe we could pressure some of the guys that have been talking about it.
We might have just done that.
I think we may have. And now that I'm an indoor cycling specialist, no, I'm not at all. Don't get me wrong.
Well, but that was
I'm
cool.
having a good time with it.
Was it fun?
It was a blast.
Yeah,
it was a
blast.
blast.
That's cool.
Yep.
And again, it's a way. I didn't mean to interrupt you before, but it's a way to introduce people to cycling, right? Some people don't want to go out and they're not comfortable just jumping out on the road, right? And they build up some strength, build up some at least knowledge, build up some familiarity with being in that position. And next thing you know, going out and getting a bike and riding it on the road isn't so daunting. And
exactly.
Maybe you've created
You start to build relationships. That's
exactly.
This is right. We're going to talk about Gravelot. I'm sure we'll talk about that more. And we talk about wide angle podium. This is Gravelot thing. I don't know.
Yeah.
They grovel a lot. It's like being married. You grovel a lot.
You can tell we've reached a new point in our relationship with those guys at the gravel lot because now we're actually teasing them just like we do slow.
Yeah.
We're not saying, oh, everything's great. They're the greatest. Now we're kind of giving them a hard time.
That's what we do. It's what we do. Yeah, right. No, the thing is that they always talk about, and one of the reasons why I love those guys so much is it's about building community, right?
Exactly.
And that's what we do. We reach out, and some of these people will be, as an instructor example, will be a dedicated spin bike person.
Yep.
For however many years, never rode outside.
Yep.
But some of them, this is kind of cool, and Mr. David Palan says it's not so scary to go outside. Maybe we'll try a ride with him, right?
Heck yeah.
You know who got me hooked up into this?
No.
Andrew Staub.
Oh, yeah.
From Beat the Train,
From
Andy
Beat the
Staub.
Train,
And he has a number of people that do his Beat the Train rides or whatever that he brought into the studio that are now doing spin. And a number of people that were introduced through spin that are getting out on the road. So anything that's getting people out on bikes is good.
I agree. No matter how much people want to deny it, in my mind, the spinning people are part of the cycling community.
You know what? As our e-bikes. As our CrossFit people.
As our e-bikes, as our CrossFit people, as our someone...
I noticed you didn't say recumbents.
I had a tough time going there. No, but I think I have to. Yes, of course. They are part of the community too. Yeah. So that's awesome, man.
Full fairing recumbents
on the road.
Did you see it? There's a video, I don't know if you've seen it, of a full fairing, fully closed shell fared recumbent on the track at Lexus.
Oh, really? No, I have not seen that.
Yeah, they were riding out there.
Pretty tight. But once you get up to speed, though, it's probably fine.
Once you get up to speed.
Because that thing has got, there is no flat part on that for people.
No.
We're talking about the Lexus Velodrome in Detroit. It's a small oval, no no flat portions at all. Not everything is banked.
50 degrees into the turns
Yeah.
and 15 degrees on the straights.
Yeah,
almost
so
in the flats.
It's a real tight oval. But
Yeah.
I tell you what, man, being that tight of an oval, super fun spectating.
Oh, it's super fun to ride,
I
too.
bet, yeah. I mean, but even spectating, I mean,
Yeah.
the racing. Sometimes people think, small ovals aren't as exciting. No,
Go
the
find
opposite.
go find the Red Bull. Have you ever seen the little Red Bull indoor velodrome racing series?
Is that like one of those trick things, like the guy in the motorcycle rides around in his
Almost.
teacup?
It's a little bit bigger than those what are they, ball of death things? Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, well, that's great.
Sometime
Cool.
when you don't aren't so worried about bandwidth and you're outside the
Yeah,
house, you
once
got to
I
go
move,
look for that video.
There we go.
Yeah. So
Yes.
that all said, all that chat down, all this spin hate that you put out.
Spin hate.
What are you working on?
What am I working on? So the last thing I worked on, I actually was helping. Well, Saturday, I didn't even go to the shop because we had a snowstorm here in Michigan.
Oh, yeah.
So I was just like, yeah, no, I'm not going. But the last time I was in there before that, I was helping somebody build a wheel.
No way.
Coincidentally, as we get closer to
A fresh from start wheel
Yep.
wheeled?
He had a
wheel build?
He had a hub and a rim and spokes. We actually cut spokes for him. It's not a real fancy wheel. He just
Yeah.
wanted straight gauge. So we used the spoke cutter and bought blanks. And as we get
You have a
closer
Phil
to
Wood there at the...
yeah,
You have a Phil Wood there?
Yeah.
No way. How can you afford your mortgage and have a Phil Wood?
I know, it's crazy, isn't it?
Is that donated there? Or?
No, the shop bought it. It
Wow.
was used. Bought it used.
Yeah.
From a guy who had two. Imagine that.
No.
So, anyways, as we get closer to the wheel build challenge, we're going to be doing a more in-depth wheel build challenge this year during the off season. Right? We're going to be
When
more.
winter finally comes here to Michigan.
We're going to get some more detail, get into that again, and try and continue that wheel build challenge for next year. Get people to do that because now's the time. Off season is the time to do it. If you are slow, methodically getting through it, it gives you the time to do all that. It gives you time to reorder parts if you made a mistake,
Right.
or whatever, or just get something that might be out of stock. You know, if you try and order it in August, a lot of cyclocross stuff is gone.
Yeah.
You know, so you get it ordered in May, June, something like that, and you can get your wheel build. But yeah, so coincidentally, this guy was building. It was just a 26-inch wheel. So he had a 26-inch road bike, touring road bike.
Wow. That must be an old
Pretty
thing.
cool. Well, I mean, you can get like a long haul trucker.
Oh,
You
yeah.
know, and
Oh,
my
yeah.
long
Yeah,
haul
yeah.
trucker is a 26 inch.
yeah.
I think 26 for a touring bike, 26-inch wheels are kind of an interesting choice. And he was lacing it onto a dyno hub.
Nice.
Yeah,
I mean, it
pretty
makes
cool.
a lot of sense for touring.
Yeah, exactly. So he wanted to be able to
Yeah.
run lights, charge something if he, charge a phone or something if he wanted to, or something like that. So, yeah, just a very modest, aluminum rim, sun rim, and straight gauge spokes,
Right.
and the Shimano Nexus hub. Boom, laced it up.
Boom, yeah.
We didn't totally get through the whole process. We got the spokes cut. He laced them, just a standard 3-cross, and everything's all laced. Started the truing process, got it kind of the beginnings of some tension on it, and then stopped there for the day. So, probably finishing that up tomorrow with him, and he'll be cruising on that sucker.
Before you know it, out there generating his own power.
It's a cool hub, too, because it has a center lock. If you want to throw a disc brake on there,
Yeah.
but it has this little cap too that you just slide over. If you want to just run it on a rim brake, which is what he's doing,
Okay.
there's this little plastic cap that covers the center lock thing, so you don't.
Oh, so you don't ruin the threads or
So
whatever.
that's not exposed,
Yeah.
right? And that's on the opposite side of where your connection is for the power, the power cords
Right.
down on the other side. So yeah, and actually that kind of balanced it a little. And usually with a rim disc brake, you're going to have an offset, right?
Yeah, I've heard
But
about
because
that.
it was the dyno hub and it had the power stuff on the right, it kind of centered that offset. Yeah, so he still had some of an offset, but not quite as big as you might have otherwise. So yeah, pretty cool build that's a little bit unique with the dyno hub and the 26-inch road wheel. So yeah, that was it.
That's
This
cool.
is as spectacular as I have.
It's always cool. I mean, it's interesting, if nothing else, right?
Well, yeah,
It's not just any. That's just a wheel build, right? It's always something interesting, a little bit different.
Exactly. And that's what's so cool about, he was talking about, I forget this, that, or the other. And I'm like, dude, once you get through this process once, if you stay up on it, you want to do it again. The nice thing about just buying these, and then actually that same day, I had another guy come in. He wants to build a set of wheels for his road bike. He had a road bike with these proprietary wheels on it. The cones, they were not very high quality wheels. They were just kind of like a lot of, one of the first things, even on pretty high end bikes, a lot of times you get low end wheels. Right. Let's just be.
I mean, that's one of the ways that you can get a higher end bike at a lower price point.
Right. And a lot of times, a lot of people are fine with that because they've got a whole assortment of wheels already.
That's right. They have a whole assortment of 700C rim track wheels that are now useless when they're buying disc brake bikes.
First thing I'm going to do is replace the wheels on almost any bike I buy anyway, so just give me the cheapest wheels because they're just going to be on the trainer.
It's like pedals, right?
It's like pedals. Why put pedals on a bike when everybody has their system that they want to use?
As long as it's SPD, we love it.
So just put some plastic flat pedals on just to meet the requirements. But so anyways, he had ridden those for a couple years, actually, wore out the cones. So on the same day that we're doing this wheel build, he comes in and wants to order stuff to do his first ever wheel build.
Nice.
And then this is what I told him is like, dude, you're not going to have this problem. We're going to get some sealed bearing DT Swiss hubs, right? So that he can, I'm like, in the future, all you'll have to do is take these bearings out and press new ones in, and you won't have this problem again. And you can always relace, because then a lot of times for people, when they've never done it before, they get into this whole big thing about, should I do radial? Should I do two cross? Should I do, but how many holes? Keep it simple, guys and ladies. Keep it, in my opinion, if you're building a wheel set for the first time, just do a 3-cross. Pick your spoke holes, 28, 32, whatever. Pick that. Do the same front and rear. Get it laced 3-cross. You will be super happy with that. But keep it simple. Get that first set under your belt, and then go crazy. Then go do whatever you want. Right?
Because the key is you can rebuild.
You discovered the key.
I discovered the key. I was hoping that was going to be edited out so they wouldn't have heard that.
Maybe it will. Go ahead.
One key is you can reuse those hubs.
Exactly.
Right? Get good quality stuff. You could reuse those hubs, and maybe next time you or after you do it in a 3-cross standard, you think, I wish I had done 2-cross or radial.
Go do it.
Go do it.
Go do it. Right.
Buy quality stuff you can replace. The spokes.
Yep, exactly. That's exactly what I told him. I'm like, ride these for 2 years. Decide then. Doesn't matter now, right?
Yeah.
Now that you're away from this proprietary thing that you've been dealing with for 4 years, and you've got a standard 28-hole 3-cross wheel. You can go do whatever you want. You can keep the same rim and just lace it differently if you want. That's easy to do. So, anyways, it's one of the reasons. Just always encouraging people to do more and more of this.
And one of the things that comes to mind when you're talking about that, ride it for a year and see how you like it. These guys that come in and say, it's got to be Ultegra. I'm not going to buy anything with 105, right? It's like, no, go ahead. Buy the 105.
Right.
Ride it for a year, and then if you don't like it, upgrade to Ultegra.
Yeah.
And so many people find that 105 is
just
fine.
Hey, these are actually just fine.
Your buddy's riding red, but Force will do you just good.
Fine.
Right.
Right. Yeah, I totally agree with you. He ended up with 350 hubs, DT Swiss 350 hubs.
Good quality hubs.
Yeah, right there, no problem. They fit. That was his budget, and some DT. I forget. It was also DT Swiss rim, but I forget which one he was that he ordered. So, anyways, a lot of wheel stuff that I've been working on.
That's
lately.
really good.
So there. Wow, that was something.
Couldn't sneak that one by him, there, viewers. I tried.
So, Mr. David Palan, we are enjoying some Grimpeur Brothers coffee here.
I noticed your cup does not runneth over; your cup runneth empty.
That was my third cup
No way.
of Cyclocross Friends.
I was wondering how we're getting through the show so fast. We're doing an hour-long show in 20 minutes.
I got the espresso maker out and was making some Hello Cyclocross Friends, which is one of the newest of the wide-angle podium coffees from Grimpeur Brothers. If you want to try it, get over to grimpeurbrothers.com. Click on Hello Cyclocross Friends, order some of that, or the Full Schleck.
The Full Schleck, that's what I'm drinking here. It was a Full Schleck pour-over.
Nice. And help support the network, help support the great people at Grimpeur Brothers who are huge supporters of the sport.
I was talking with Dan just Saturday through that snowstorm.
Nice.
He was in 50-degree. He was complaining it was windy and he was going to have to go out in the wind. Sorry,
You're like,
Dan.
the wind here means minus 15, Dan. Come
Dan.
on. Let's get with it.
Yeah.
We were actually talking with Dan at Nationals.
We were.
About doing another Grimpeur Brothers contest, right?
We are.
So
we did.
Did we get that all straightened out and figured out, Mr. David Palan?
We did. And Dan is such... we talk about it all the time.
Yeah.
Dan is such a great guy.
Yes. Of course.
And there's so much and so many reasons for that, and all the support that he gives to cyclocross, to cycling, to the right causes, the right people, to Helen, to name it, right?
Name it, yeah.
He's all about it. So I talked to him real briefly. I said, actually, I didn't even talk to him. He came to me trying to sweeten the deal with an 8-ounce package of Hello Cyclocross Friends and an 8-ounce package of the Full Schleck.
Nice.
In my package is also a note said, hey, we were talking about doing a contest.
Yes.
Let's give some stuff away.
Let's give some of this away.
So I spoke with him on Saturday and we came up with this.
Okay.
Are you ready?
Yes. This is I'm finding out about this just along with our viewers, so I'm excited.
All right. As our other contests, this will be an Instagram contest. As our other contests, I imagine that some of you will tweet. Please don't. We were pretty forgiving on the last contest.
Yes,
but
last
this time,
if people did tweet, I think you were reminding them, hey, if you move this over to Instagram, you have met the requirements and you can be in the contest.
So we're going to go back to the same requirements. It needs to, you need to follow and tag Grimpeur Brothers Coffee.
Okay.
Bike Shop CX.
Okay.
Or as we sometimes say, Bike Shop CX.
Okay.
And throw Mr. David Palan on there for good measure.
Okay.
And Graham, what do you do? What is the verb? You Instagram a picture?
Yeah.
Send a picture?
Post
a picture?
Yeah.
Put up a picture of you, not you, Scotty D, but you, viewer,
Yeah.
at a coffee shop.
Okay. Well, could it be, or drink, could it just be like coffee, like you making coffee at home?
Could be you making coffee at home as well.
But you have to be, and it doesn't have to be Grimpeur Brothers.
No, it does not.
Necessarily,
It does
right?
not.
It can be whatever, but it just has to show that you are a fan of coffee and
Right.
you're interested in trying this,
Yeah,
right?
you're coffee centric, shall we say.
Yeah. So basically, some picture of you enjoying a caffeinated beverage.
Exactly.
We might give you a little bonus credit if you are at a coffee shop.
Indeed. And this is another reason why I think Dan's the greatest.
Yeah.
His point was, I'm about local small businesses.
Oh, okay.
I want people to go out and visit their coffee shops. I think it's important that we have
Awesome.
people in coffee shops. So we're going to do a little twist on this. We'll say you get one entry for being in your home,
And 2,
and it will double it to 2 if you are at your local or any coffee shop.
yeah, okay.
Yep.
Just any place outside of your house where you are purchasing coffee.
Coffee, correct.
This is sounding like the coffeeneering contest.
It is, yeah. Now we're going to have to give extra special bonus points for people at small individual owners.
What if I'm drinking a hot chocolate? No, actually, hot chocolate won't qualify you. It needs to be coffee because that's the whole point of this. Is we're looking for
people that love coffee.
So now and then, so that will get you entered.
Yes. How can you win?
Do you win?
I know that's all. You're
What
always
are you
about winning.
What's the goal?
Winning. So the goal is the person that gets the most likes
Okay.
on their picture, on their Instagram, you win. Just that easy.
Okay. So if someone goes out there and gets a ton of likes on their picture, they're going to win. If they
Exactly.
have the highest number of likes, they're going to win. Period. What if no one gets a lot of likes, or there's a tie or something like that?
If there's a tie, we're going to use I don't know. I like the idea of a random number generator. I know you don't. You have a 532 sided die that you like to use. We will randomly.
No, random.
I know random number generators are not random. I know.
Dice are the only thing that's random. Okay.
Dice and Scotty D. The only two things that are random.
Go ahead.
Schrodinger's cat here. That's how we'll differentiate in the case of ties. So clearly, you're going to want to get out there and promote your Instagram picture so that people go out there and see it and like it and push it around.
So if you want to just take it out of the Dice's hands, just go get a bazillion likes.
Yeah, go get it.
Yeah. And you won't even have to sweat the
Small
randomness.
stuff. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Very cool.
So what are they playing for, Johnny?
What's the prizes?
So they have the top three have the choices of the full Schleck or Hello Cyclocross Friends.
Okay.
And
Choice of a bag of beans of one of those two.
Correct.
All right. That's for the top three.
Yes.
Oh, man. See, that is huge.
Of course it is.
That's a good chance to win right there. Wow. Okay, good.
And then going across, because Dan is Dan, wide angle, he said we got to go 5 deep.
Got to go 5 deep.
And at 5 deep, you're going to get the new Grimpeur Brothers,
that flag shirt?
the flag shirt.
Oh, man.
I wish that we could enter this just for that.
I might have to create a new Instagram secret account. We're like, Joe Schmo.
Who's this Scott Not Bikes?
All right, so let's run it through that one more time. Take a picture of yourself enjoying coffee in some way, preferably at some coffee shop or some place that sells coffee.
Correct.
Tag it, Grimpeur Brothers, Mr.
Yes.
David Palan,
Yes.
or Bike Shop CX. You don't need to have both of those. One of those two is fine. You can do both if you want. And then just get likes on it.
Yeah.
It's that simple.
Call your mom, call your sister.
So basically, all you got to do is take a picture of yourself having coffee at your local, especially, and we might give you 3 if it was a small independent coffee shop,
I was thinking that
rather
way.
than a big chain.
Yeah.
We might do that.
Yeah, we support people like Ruse Roast here in town and Mighty
Right.
Good Coffee.
Yeah,
Milan Coffee
absolutely.
Works. There's a lot of really good people out there.
There's going to be a new place in Adrian.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the guy owns a brewery right now, and he actually has bikes that he has gotten out of my friend Gary's collection.
Yeah.
That hang
In the brewery.
from the ceiling.
Where is this?
In Adrian.
I know.
And
I work in Adrian, so I'm wondering where in Adrian is this?
It's Cotton Brewery.
Okay.
I forget the street name that it's
Yeah.
on, but he's starting a new coffee shop.
Yeah,
What's
talk
he
about
do?
a guy that will never sleep, right?
Have some
He works
bikes.
late night hours
And then early
and then
morning.
super early morning.
So
hours.
yeah, hopefully have some bikes hanging in the new coffee
That'll
shop
be
too.
cool.
So something like that would be
Yeah.
You're gonna get a lot of prop points for that, and that's it. And then just trying to remind people and get people to like it and spread the love of Grimpeur Brothers,
Indeed.
which will happen too once you try the coffee. and drink
It's one of those first doses free kind of thing. You try Grimpeur Brothers coffee.
You go back and drink something else. You're like, what?
Oh, that's
Did I used
sticky
to-
beans.
Did I used to like this?
No.
Sticky beans. All right, Mr. David Penn. Well, that sounds great, as always. And if you're not interested in any of that, just get over to GrimpeurBrothers.com, buy one of these bags of coffee, and it helps support the network.
Yeah, and
Supports the show, supports the network, supports them.
supports our sport.
And supports our sport. All right, Mr. David Palin. So moving on to, we're going to have a little tech topic today.
Oh, that's cool. That's something new. Have we done that before?
But, it's a little bit different than what we've been talking about previously. We're going to talk about stems. I was thinking, when I try and think up these topics of what we're going to talk about, I was trying to think of, what kind of stuff do people do this time of the season? This is the time of the season. All right, I'm putting this out there to our viewers. I want to see how many people will respond to this. Are you ready?
Respond positively?
I want to see if people will actually own up to this. Now that cyclocross in the U.S. is finished, as far as participating in cyclocross, right? Of course, we still have racers over in Europe that are about to participate in Worlds and the World Cup. But your racing is done for the season. If you took your bike, cleaned it at the course, right? It's your last race. You cleaned it at the course.
Yeah.
Put it on your car or in your car or whatever, however you transport it home. And then rolled it either into your garage or your basement.
Yeah.
And it has been sitting there ever since. I want you to send us an email. I want to see who owns up to the fact that that's what they did.
Send us an Instagram picture.
Or send us an Instagram picture of yourself drinking coffee next to
Even
it.
better. Yeah. You'll get extra double bonus secret points for that.
I'll guarantee you there's people out there.
You mean not everybody stripped it down to frame and fork by the Wednesday after their final race?
Not even that. It doesn't have to be that extensive, but at least like took their cranks out, took stuff apart, maybe took off the old nasty handlebar tape that they've had on all season. At least take it off. You don't even have to put new stuff on yet, but at least take that old gunky crappy stuff off. Maybe if you're running tubeless or clinchers or something, maybe take your tires off, make sure everything gets real dry. But I guarantee you the people that just rolled it in and leaned it against the wall in the garage or hung it on the hooks in the garage, I guarantee you they're out there. So if you are out there, your email doesn't have to be a question. Just send it to bikeshopshow@gmail.com.
Bikeshopshow@gmail.com.
And just own up to it. I'm just curious.
Yeah.
Just curious who out there did that.
I know some of them.
So I was starting to think about what other kind of things can you kind of start. We talked about the Wheelbird Challenge. That's a good thing to start thinking about right now. Right? You don't have to be purchasing parts yet, but you're starting to think about, okay, I'm assessing my season, the season I just had. I want to do something different with, say, wheels. What do I need to do? But the other thing is your bike position. Maybe you're going to get a new bike for next year. Maybe you didn't like something about your bike position. And so it dawned on me, let's talk about stems. Right.
So
you guys talk about stems in bike fitting a lot?
We talk about, as you would imagine, I mean, it's one of the keys,
it's like
right?
The first thing, right? That and saddle height.
Well, you start with the saddle.
Right.
But from there, because obviously those are the three keys. It's going to be pedals.
Contact points.
Contact points, right? Yeah. Pedals to, so bottom bracket to saddle, bottom bracket and saddle to bars.
To handlebars.
And the bars are controlled by
where the stem is. Yeah, that's the last thing to touch the bars.
That's right.
Besides your hand. So, but there's a lot of confusion as far as stems go. And so one of the things, we're thinking of like a threadless setup right now. We're not talking about threaded stems.
Right.
We have to make sure we set this all down in stone so that the emailers don't send us, you didn't talk about the such
quill.
and such a stem that went out that they used to use 17 years ago, and that
my NT quill.
You didn't talk about the felt time trial bike that has this crazy stem. No, we're talking about an all-purpose general run-of-the-mill threadless stem. Okay,
Bike Shop CX viewers, be advised, he's had 3 cups of coffee. And we love our viewers. We love them in all of their geekitude.
Yes, exactly. So, all right, general threadless stem. Two of the things that people get confused about and mixed up a little bit. I want to talk about the difference between extension or length, right? And reach. Now, why are those two things not the same, Mr. David Palan?
They're dictated by the stem angle.
Correct. Right. Of course.
Right.
Yeah.
So because stem length is going to be pretty clear.
Yeah.
The length of that piece of pipe.
Right.
Basically. Right. That's your length.
Right.
The reach is dictated by the angle that piece of pipe is sitting at.
Is set at. Right.
For instance, something at a 90-degree, basically straight up and down.
Mm-hmm.
Doesn't matter how long the length is, its reach will be 0.
0. Right. Correct.
At a horizontal.
Uh-huh. If it was sticking straight out, perpendicular to the steer tube,
to the ground, not to the stair tube.
Okay.
You're
right.
I mean, horizontal to the ground. Not important.
I should say perpendicular to the collar of the stem. right? Yeah.
Correct.
Yeah.
That's what you should talk about, but I'm talking about parallel to the ground.
Okay, right. Yeah.
In that case, your length is equal to
Your reach.
the reach.
Yeah, because they're the same.
Right. But
anything in between those two things is
two.
going to be varying. While the extension or the length stays the same, the reach out in front of the bike is different depending on that angle.
Right, as will the height, obviously.
Now, a lot of times we see, you mean the overall height of the stem will change?
The height of the stem won't change. The height of where that rider's position will change.
Right, gotcha, of course, yes. Now, the other thing we see, since we've mentioned angles, is we see, like, sometimes you'll see on a stem it'll say 6 degrees. You say, okay. And then you'll see on a stem that says 96 degrees. And you're like, wait a minute. These look exactly the same.
Yeah.
And the reason is because they are exactly the same.
What?
How can that be? And the main reason is there's two different ways in the bike industry. You know, in
You mean there's multiple standards?
To be honest, considering that this is the bike industry, we should feel lucky that there's only two different ways, not 7. So there's two different ways to measure that angle. The first way, which is say the smaller number way, is to measure it from, if you had a center line down the length part of that stem, right down that. The angle that makes when it hits the center line of the stem collar.
Correct.
Right?
So that's the part that attaches to
the steer tube. Yep. The angle that makes with a line that would be parallel to the ground, an imaginary line. So you have an imaginary line parallel to the ground. That line coming down the center of the stem, hitting that imaginary parallel line, when it hits right at the center of the stem collar, that's that angle. That's that first angle.
Right.
That small number, that 6, say.
Right.
The other way to measure the angle is...
Is there a name for that other than angle A?
No, that's not... I mean, you can call it whatever you want. It's not necessarily angle A. Some people call that angle A. The other way to measure it is if instead of stopping, if you're measuring that angle down, starting at the stem center line, and you're going down, you hit the parallel line.
Yeah.
But you continue on and take that all the way down until you are perpendicular to the ground, right?
Right.
That essentially adds 90 degrees to the angle that you just measured. Where are you confused?
I'm making a funny face because that doesn't take into account, if we're going to the ground, it doesn't take into account your steer tube angle. Not steer tube angle, but
perpendicular
head tube angle.
Perpendicular to the, I keep saying the ground, perpendicular to the collar.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Okay.
So perpendicular to the collar, right, of the stem. It's confusing because your stem isn't always at a 90-degree angle to the ground.
That's my point.
Right. Yeah. So that's why it's confusing. So if that collar of the stem or straight up and down, then if you continued that angle down until we're pointing straight down, then you're going to get angle A basically plus 90 degrees. Right?
Correct.
So that's one way, because I know people get confused with these stem angles, and this is the main reason why I wanted to talk about that. Is you see all these crazy, how can 97 and 7 be the same? How are they measuring these? And a lot of times people think it's measuring up, which it's not, right? It's measuring down to the ground. So angle A would be straight out. Say if you picture the center of the collar as a clock face, right? And the hands of the clock are in the exact center point, right? Up and down and left and right. The first angle is measured at 3 o'clock.
Right.
From 3 o'clock up to wherever the stem is.
Or down.
The second angle is measured at 6 o'clock.
Right. Okay.
From where the
Which
stem
is obviously 90 degrees.
90, right. It's 90 degrees higher. So those were the two things I wanted to clarify the most. Some other things that you'll have in your stem is your height, right, Mr. David Palan? That's basically this collar height.
Right.
That can be different from stem to stem.
Right.
You can also change that with spacers, which we'll talk about in a little bit. And then the rise. So if you had that same center point on the collar, how high is the center point of where the handlebars are going to connect?
Right.
So if you could look at that straight on from the side, how high up is that going to be? Now, that is going to be affected by the angle.
Right. Because
Right.
A squared plus B squared equals C squared.
The Pythagorean theorem. Man, oh man.
And what do you know?
It works.
Yeah. even though we always told our algebra teacher we would never need it because we are working in a bike shop.
When am I going to use that in real life? Here you go. Yeah. Right. So, okay. So just to recap, you're going to tell us a little bit more about something in a second, but just to recap, we've got reach is how far away from the center point of the stem collar you are.
Right.
Extension or length is what is the actual physical length from that center point of the collar to the center point of where the handlebars are.
That's reach.
That's length or extension.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. Yep.
Yeah, the physical
Yep.
reach is how far out in front you are. Angle A is the small angle that's measured from the angle of the stem down to a perpendicular position.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sorry, a parallel to the position. Angle B measures, if you continue that 90 degrees down so that you're pointing straight down, that's angle B to your perpendicular to the ground. Or to the if the stem was flat.
Right.
Right. See, you're picturing the stem on a bike. I'm
Right.
picturing the stem off of a bike.
On a bench.
Right. Sitting on a bench flat.
Right.
Right. That's why we're like getting so confused. All right. So, rise is what we just mentioned. How high is the center point of where the handlebars are above the center point of where the stem connects to the steer tube. And what was the last one? Height of the collar.
Correct.
So that comes in different
With
manufacturers.
spacers.
Or without different manufacturers.
Right. Sorry,
you can get slightly different ones even without it. So, all right, Mr. David Palan, when you do this
Right.
in your fitting stuff,
Right.
What-
There's a third little ball that we're going to juggle in this.
yeah, oh boy,
Specialized. Right? You know where I'm going, don't you?
I think.
Of course
Go
you do.
ahead.
Specialized has their comp multi-stem
What?
because the comp multi-stem comes with variable or adjustable angles. Uses wedges.
This kind of stuff drives me insane.
So we'll cut this all out.
No, we can.
No. Because you know what? Maybe we talk about it only because we're going to get the emails.
I guess. Okay. Yeah. I mean,
Right.
what is the purpose of doing that? Why can't you just get the stem or have? My problem is I always think of it as a team that's going to have a whole bunch of stuff, right? It's like hard for me. I understand, and I forget that for an individual person, you want the one that's going to be for you. And what if I don't get the exact right one? Where here I could have some adjustability. I can maybe dial it in to exactly where I want it. In my experience, though, all that kind of stuff never works right.
Well,
It's always loose and shaky, and
that's
never stays tight,
Yeah.
and then it's a problem.
I think there's
and
some
you-
operator error involved in that.
Yeah.
But the other thing with this is if you are a fitter, now I don't have to carry, and this is where that other thing.
Oh,
other
that'd be-
tool
yeah,
comes in
that's a
so
great
handy.
point, yeah.
I don't have to carry.
You
how
can
many
use this to
SKUs.
determine the angle you want, and then get a.
And then if they want to have, the carbon super lightweight whatever,
right.
I can. But here I can send you out on your bike,
Yep. You can ride it for 2 weeks
or for their lifetime if you want, right? If you're not so worried
until it
about
loosens. Just kidding.
There you go. Yeah. So do you want to talk about it or no?
Yeah, go ahead.
All right. So Specialized has addressed this multi-positioning piece because as a fitter, you have a drawer full of stems.
Right.
And how many SKUs, with all the little variations that you're talking about, how many SKUs can you carry? So one of the things that Specialized has done is they've come out with the Comp Multi-Stem, which allows for varying angles, adjustability in that.
Yep.
And as opposed to, I'm sure you remember the old days with a stem that kind of pivoted and you would bolt, you'd had a bolt that would bolt on, and no matter what anyone did, those people were always dropping that thing down.
Here's my question to you too: have you ever seen one of those that was not in the fully upright position, and on a bike and being reused?
Here you go. The answer is the only
the real
ones
answer
you do,
is no.
No, the only ones that you see that are not in the fully upright position, are the ones that have come in to say, I want this in the fully upright position, it keeps flopping over. Right? So, yes, to your point exactly. They become loosened or whatever, they fail. Here, they use wedges, so it doesn't
So it takes longer to fail.
So it takes longer to fail. I told you, Dan, I love you, man, but you got to send him decaf. From now on, you got to send him decaf. You don't have to tell him. So, yes.
So, all right. So,
it's another way to do what we're talking about.
Thank you, Specialized, for making the world such a better place.
So, patent attorneys, call. Send your hate mail to bikeshopshow@gmail.com. So, for those of you who haven't turned off our podcast at this point,
the people that I'm hating on Specialized. I'm not. I love Specialized. Specialized is makes great bikes.
Yes, they do. And they do great things. And they do some boneheaded things.
Every bike manufacturer does some boneheaded things. So we're just making fun of the industry, guys, not one specific manufacturer. Right. Okay.
We love our industry in all of its dysfunction. Right. No, honestly.
Exactly.
Yes. We're not going down there right now. I've only had 2 cups of Grimpeur Brothers at this point. So,
but there's another tool that you use.
There's another tool out there. This one can be found at yojimg.net /bike/web_tools/stem.php. Wow. We may have to put a link to that in the show notes.
Yeah, send me that and I'll put it in.
I will send that to you, which is a stem comparison tool, because all of these things that we just spoke about is a testament to the fact that you could have where you want, that point in space where you want the handlebar, the center of the handlebars to be,
right,
with different angles and different lengths. This is where we're talking the difference between reach and length on the
and spacers too, right?
And spacers so
between spacers, angle, and length,
right?
You can get all different. You can have different combinations of things that basically give you the same reach.
Correct.
Yes.
Right. Gotcha. And this tool, which is really cool, go out there again. It's yogmg.net. And
what is this thing called? Does it have a name?
The stem comparison tool.
There you go. Probably if you just Google that, you'll get it.
Yeah, go ahead. Google stem comparison tool.
Put it in the Google.
And it will show you how to get to that same point in space.
Right.
Using different length.
And you just change the numbers over there, and it has this cool little drawing that actually physically changes, kind of like the retool fit thing that you see fitters use sometimes, right?
Correct.
Yeah, and it gives you this, and you can kind of actually see that you're getting to the same point using different numbers. You're still getting to that same point in space.
Right. And when we do fittings, we see people that come in and we say, because we don't swap out stem to stem to stem. We use a stem tool that you can adjust angles and length to get them in that ideal position. And then you want to figure out what is the best stem for them, because we have plenty of different stems out there, including the Comp Multi-Stem, but everybody wants a carbon stem, because that's going to be the difference between winning and losing.
That's right. That's what's going to make me a Cat 4.
That's right. And that's it. So that's your special tool out there. Go ahead and check it out. Hit stem comparison.
It's very interesting. I mean, if you have even just a mild interest in this and you're sitting at work wondering about this, it's cool to just check it out and see how if I put a 5mm spacer, what's that going to do?
Right.
So it's a really cool little tool. So yeah, that's awesome.
That's cool.
All right. Well, that's going to cover it for our STEM stuff. We just wanted to basically run through those dimensions and especially the angle stuff and clarify for people that, because I've gotten asked that question, clarify that angle and how those numbers can be so different and mean the same thing or mean similar things. Why is a 97 only 1 degree different from a 6? Right? And now we know why that is.
Now, if you turn over the 97, it's not a negative 97. But if you turn over a 7, it is a negative 7.
There you go.
So if you turn over a 97, it becomes an 83.
There you go. Yeah. See? There you go. Now it's clear as day.
Clear as a cup of coffee.
All right, Mr. David Palan. If people have any questions, comments, concerns, whatever about that, send it to bikeshopshow@gmail.com.
Bikeshopshow@gmail.com.
One of the things that never changes once you stick it on,
TNR tape?
TNR tape. I know we are at the end of the cyclocross season now. Not a lot of cyclocross racing still going on in the U.S. But man, TNR tape has been with us all season again this year.
They've stuck with us.
They have stuck with us for another season, and it has been fantastic.
And now it's time to reach onto our jerseys or reach onto our numbers
and
pull it off
for the end of the season.
And it's still clean.
But it's still there is someone still crushing it with the TNR tape over in Europe. Tyler Cloutier. He just used it this past weekend.
He did indeed.
Yeah, in France at the World Cup. So fully World Cup tested TNR tape. It's a number attaching solution if you're tired of sticking holes in your skin suit or your kit, whatever, with safety pins, or if you do go down that ripping a huge hole in your kit. Give TNR tape a try. TNRtape.com. Check it out. It's a way to stick your number on. There's some directions. It's not, you can't just throw it on and, you got there's a technique that you actually learn. But once you do, man, it's so simple and it just works. And the people, even at the highest level of the sport, Sonny Gilbert, was using it over in Europe as well.
Sonny G.
She had it on when she got second at U.S. Nationals for the elite women.
You said that it was the reason why she got second.
I think it was. You know, I think she would have been third probably without the TNR tape. But
can you imagine doing that race, worrying about whether or not your number was going to rip through your kit?
Could you imagine? She didn't have a concern at all because it's been awesome for her all season long. So get over there. And, it's not just for cycling. I mean, if you have your here I used to do a 3-day charity ride, right? I could use TNR tape for all 3 days, right?
And the cool thing, we talked about this when we talked about this.
Mm-hmm. We talked about this when we talked about this. Okay.
Yeah.
I think I follow.
Yeah. You can reuse the same tape.
Yes, it definitely can work from day to day.
For your 3 day, one day subsequent to the next, if you're in your car, stick it to your window.
Yep. We've had people trying it for 5K runs that they've been doing, triathlons. I mean, you name it.
Not good for the swim.
Not good for the swim, yes. But still, very, very cool stuff. Get on over TNRtape.com. Check it out. We just thank them so much for being with us all season again this year.
Thank you to Aaron. Make sure you give a shout out to Aaron.
Yeah, shout out to Aaron. And we'll be, promoting this stuff again next year, hopefully, I'm sure. And we'll be promoting it no matter what. Because it's awesome stuff. Yeah. So there you go. All right, TNRtape.com. All right, Mr. David Palan.
Yes, sir.
Are you ready for some questions from our viewers?
I am ready for viewer questions.
We only have a couple.
All right.
But it's the time of year as we people aren't thinking about their cyclocross bikes.
Because they're out there on their spin bikes more.
Right. We're going to be talking about some gravel stuff. We're going to be talking about some gravel stuff soon, and maybe we'll get some more gravel questions. Should I ride a single ring or a double ring on my gravel bike?
People have actually been coming into the shop to ask me, or I've been getting some texts and some emails and some direct messages asking me about setups and choices for gravel racing, as I will be doing the Coast to Coast Michigan race again, and more people are talking about coming out and joining us this year.
That's going to be cool. Now that it's after DK, people that don't get into DK. They can
Yeah,
just
it reminds me I need to get myself signed up and not lose out on that. But I'm going to put this out there now and challenge him publicly.
Who's that?
Dan, we're expecting to see you up here in Michigan.
Oh, Grimpeur Brothers Dan?
Grimpeur Brothers Dan, yeah.
All right, we're gonna have a lot of people coming to Michigan for that race / ride. All right, so we have a speaking of gravel.
Yes.
We have an email from the former pride of Michigan cyclocross.
Oh, yeah. Tell me about that.
What's his name again?
J.B. P.T. Barnum Hancock.
He is letting us know, too, about another event that he has going on, the Glen Gravel Ramble. It's here in Michigan. People, come on up. Get into it. If you register...
Yeah.
And there's a discount code that you can use as a Bike Shop CX viewer.
Yes.
And it is simply...
Yes.
The word
yes
Bike Shop CX. So just use Bike Shop CX, 5% off any of your cart at Bike Reg when you register for the Glen Gravel Ramble in Alma, Michigan in June. I'm going to be there. We are both going to be there. I'm going to be working one of the aid stops, doing any bike touch up.
How'd you get away with that? I have to ride.
I think you just have to carry a recorder.
Okay.
And
I'm looking for that wireless mic.
But I'll be there doing any bike fixes for anyone that needs it, and I'll have water and stuff, for people that have. So yeah, come on out if you're anywhere in the area and you're thinking of it. Hey, I need an event for June. Mm-hmm. Here you go, June 8th.
June 8th. That's 2 weeks before Coast to Coast Michigan.
And yeah, so
it's a great weekend to do a shakedown.
If you are doing Coast to Coast, yep, it's in the very similar area. So.
Now, I have thrown out to him that he should put out a special code. Anyone named Glenn gets free entry.
They get free entry. Okay, I think that'd be good.
I think that's good. So if you're interested, go to what's it called? Glen Gravel Alma.
Yeah. It's on Bike Reg. If you put
it?
Glen Gravel into Bike Reg, I'm sure you'll find it, right?
You'll come right to the top of all the Glen Gravels out there.
And it's June 8th, right? All right, Mr. David Pound. We have another email question from Jeff, and we've forgotten. Jeff has emailed us. Thank you, Jeff, for emailing us 3 times just to get one question on the show. Because Jeff sent us an email, and then I forgot about it.
Yeah.
And then he sent us a reminder, which I often ask people to do.
Right.
And then I forgot about it.
Oh, no, Jeff. I'm sorry for my brother.
And Jeff even says, I like this. Jeff says, trying one more time.
That's right. So 2 strikes, we're still in the game. This would have been strike 3, but
But we're getting it in there just in time.
This isn't Jeff that we know, Jeff.
This is a different Jeff.
Okay.
So Jeff actually over the course of the time that he sent this to us on September 9th originally.
So this was key and critical for his cyclocross season, I'm sure.
Exactly.
Oh, Jeff, I'm so sorry.
Then the follow-up was November 12th.
Oh, no, Jeff.
And now we're getting to it. The last one he sent was January 13th. So there we go. So Jeff's question has evolved a little bit over time. So
he deserves that. He deserves a full, and maybe even a correct answer.
So we're gonna kind of put Jeff's entire thing together here as we go. So his original thing was that Jeff says, my CX bikes have thus far been tubed. I'm currently running Challenge Chicane clinchers with latex tubes. New bike on order. It'll be tubeless, but with Vittoria Terreno dries. For tubes, I use 25 to 28 road tubes. Maybe I'm imagining it, but when I've gone with a CX tube, 30 to 35 or so, it seems that the occurrence of pinch flats has been higher. Any insight into whether, 1, latex pinch flats less than butyl? Latex pinch flats. Oh, so in other words, do butyl tubes pinch flat more than latex tubes? Mm-hmm. And 2, do road tubes pinch flat less than CX tubes? So I don't know that there's really... The only thing I can think of, Jeff, that you're designating something as a road tube versus a CX tube is the width, right? The 25 to 28 you're calling a road tube. The 30 to 35 you're calling a CX tube. But that's just kind of a
Well, it makes
because
sense.
that's what we
That's
tend.
what fits,
that's what
yeah.
we tend to ride. Those are the sizes we tend to ride in those two disciplines. But there is no difference in the butyl rubber that I have ever heard of from anybody. It is the exact same stuff, and I can't think of any reason why that would make a difference.
Assuming you're having, and I am assuming that you're putting the right size tube in the tire that you're running, right? Because yes, what we're calling now a road tube for this discussion here, in a cyclocross tire is
So
going to
that
be
it's stretched.
It's going to be stretched further,
Sure.
and therefore maybe more susceptible to pinch flats. And
Some people do that on purpose, though.
Right.
So, but yeah,
because
other
they're looking for pinch flats.
no, they want a smaller tube,
Right,
If
right.
on their wheels. Mostly you see it in crit races, they'll use an 1823,
Right, yeah,
and
yeah.
a 25 or something like that, just because they want the thinnest, smallest tube, and they'll use just for the race and then to take it out.
Right,
You're not going to
right.
train on something like that. But you do occasionally, see people using mismatched tube to tire sizes.
I know that I've been out on a ride, get a flat and I happened to be on my cross bike at the time, reached into my saddlebag, and all I had was a quote unquote road tube.
Right.
Because that last time I had that, whatever.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
And it worked
Right,
fine.
And it worked fine.
Yeah, it got you home. I got to tell you this story. I was riding with this guy who I had to just stop riding with because he used to race on the track like way back in the 70s,
Yeah.
right? But now we're all old guys, right? And
Yeah.
we've all got a lot of experience. And he had left cycling for a while and was coming back.
Yeah.
But now he knows everything about the sport right now because he used to race on the track. And
Yeah.
we're out doing these training rides on the road. And it was just this constant barrage of what you should be doing and what this does and why your chain should be this long. And I mean, just continual, non-stop, it gets so tiring. So anyway,
So you don't ride with Frankie anymore?
don't ride with that guy anymore. And we got but he would be questioning like, oh, you didn't indicate your turn enough.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just this.
Did he yell stick at you all the time too? And you're riding outside, you're thinking, yeah, I see the stick. It's okay.
Right. Thank you.
Thanks. Stick.
So we're out. One of the last times I rode with the guy, we're out riding. He gets a puncture. We all stop. This is Mr. Know-It-All, right? He goes in his bag. He pulls out his spare tube, and it's a 650.
Is it all dried out? Because
And so
if
it's
it
just
goes
like-
back to that standard,
He just was like, I don't know how this happened.
My wife.
He's just like,
Yeah.
Didn't say anything, just smiled and gave him mine.
Yeah. He's the guy that normally when somebody flats or whatever, you do your best. You hold their bike, or they hold their bike, and you, because you're much faster at it, you just want to get back on the road. He's the guy that you just stand there and nope,
Let him
you maybe
struggle.
turn around and start looking at your phone or
Oh, that's funny. So, anyways, what were we talking about,
Jeff. Yeah, did we answer Jeff's question? I'm not sure.
Do road tubes pinch flat less than CX tubes? So
I think we addressed that.
yeah, I don't.
There's so much variability in lot to lot. Honestly,
Yeah.
we've had boxes of tubes that have come in where we're seeing more pinch flats in that one box.
Absolutely. It can be certainly rubber to rubber, brand to brand, a little bit differences here, there. So I think that's probably an imagined occurence. Jeff,
Could be a real occurrence.
like you said. Well, he said maybe I'm imagining. That's why I said I choose imagined.
Okay.
Yeah, it could. You're right though. It could be a
His
real occurrence,
experience
but it
is
could
real
just
to
be-
him, right?
It could just be chance.
Right.
You're right. So
Mr. Random Number Generator.
latex to butyl, I think it's the opposite. I think butyl pinch flats less
Yeah,
than
I would
latex.
agree with that.
Latex the only people I see riding latex are always talking about how they're about to quit riding latex. Right? Is that not true? Like everybody, I won't ride latex tubes anymore. They're just way more hassle than they're worth.
I rode one once. Not one once. I rode latex once, and it took me 3 tubes to get it in and not explode.
Yeah.
And when the final one, I got it all the way in, got through one race. It was years and years ago, and I raced in Detroit.
Uh-huh.
And then after that race, took it out.
Never used it again.
Done.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I have latex
It
tubes
makes
sitting
so
on the
much
shelf
sense
that I don't ever use.
From Challenge. In a tubular tire.
Yes, the only latex tubes I want to use are sewn up inside
Yep.
of a tubular.
Yep.
Right, and that's it. So, do they pinch flat less than butyl? I would say no. They probably pinch flat more than butyl. If you could keep everything else the same and you put both tubes under the exact same
Strike.
bump or
Yeah.
strike that you hit, I think the latex would pinch flat more. Would actually
I agree.
lose air more
Yeah.
quickly. The butyl is just tougher and can stand up to a little bit more punishment than the latex tubes.
Yeah. You do pay a weight penalty for that, which is why some people are so hot on the latex. I get it.
Yeah.
But to me, well worth it.
Yes. All right. Update. I'm now
Sorry, Jeff.
So this is
Hey, do you want to answer Jeff's question again now? Because we owe him another answer.
Yeah, so we have another question here from viewer Jeff.
Okay.
This one was sent in November. Update. I'm now on a new bike running tubeless challenge chicanes. Cool. On my primary
Latex
wheels.
tubeless or no?
Clement BOS on my secondary wheels. I like the Terreno dry tires, but they don't have quite the grip of the chicanes. My B-bike is still running with tubes, however, so the question is still of interest. So he still has the question of the it's the same question, but no.
Yeah.
But he did get those tubeless and is running the challenge chicane tubeless, which is very cool. The challenge has come out with the tube. People are waiting.
Or the Vittoria dry tubeless.
Well, that was on his other set.
Okay.
The people were waiting for Challenge forever to come out with tubeless tires. They finally did, and I've heard all just good stuff. It sounds like Jeff likes them too. If he's getting good, they're hooking up well for him. So, okay, Mr. David Palan. The third one is also again just him re-asking from Jeff.
Jeff, you got 3 answers.
Jeff, you got 3 answers. I know it took a while, but you got 3 answers to that one question. So thank you for that email, Jeff. Does Jeff say where he's from?
You should call this the Jeff Show.
And Jeff says he is from Cambridge, Massachusetts. And we'll, people always refer to us Our
as
Fair City.
Our Fair City.
Yeah. Cambridge, Our Fair City. And we are also going to give a shout out to 545 Velo. He is the CX technical director. So Jeff,
cool.
Thanks for all that. And 545 Velo. I checked out their website. Pretty cool.
Yeah,
pretty cool. Yep.
Cool. That's like 2 shows in a row. We have people calling, viewing, emailing from my fair city,
from the
Cambridge, Boston area, from the PMC, and now from Cambridge.
All right, so if anyone else has any questions they want to send them to bikeshopshow@gmail.com.
bikeshopshow@gmail.com.
And that's it. I told you we had low question volume this show, so we're keeping the show. We're going to be right around
just
an hour.
One viewer question.
Yeah, and the former pride of Michigan cyclocross.
PT, JB.
So, all right, Mr. David Palan, if people want to get in touch with you via the social medias, what's the best way to do it?
It's pretty straightforward. At Mr. David Palan, I'm on Instagram. I am on the Twitter.
And if you want to get me, Scott Dienbach, I am at Bike Shop CX on Instagram and on Twitter. And if you want to follow my non-cycling Instagram account, Scott Not Bikes, at Scott Not Bikes, where I post a lot of cat and vinyl stuff.
Yeah,
vinyl.
I noticed those barn cats.
The vinyl that I'm listening to. They're in my basement because it was not minus anything single digits or negatives. Yeah, they come in the basement for the night. So, all right, Mr. David Palan, I will see you next time, man.
Sounds great. And with that, the bike shop, she's closed.
Your voice kind of broke right there.
Yeah. Puberty.
All right, and that's the show for this week. I hope everybody dug it. As always, get on over to Wide Angle Podium. We are a part of the Wide Angle Podium Network, and we love being a part of the Wide Angle Podium Network. Go to wideanglepodium.com. Become a member. It supports the show. It supports all the other shows, too. It's great. If you listen to the Wide Angle Podium show, Slow Ride, we talked about doing the show, the Crosshairs Radio show with Bill, the great new show that we have on the network, the Gravel Lot, Consummate Athlete. They're all there, and you can support all of them just by becoming a member. Have a small monthly this little fee that you pay, saying that, yeah, this is actually worth something and I'm enjoying it. So here's a couple bucks. And it really, really helps out. Also, we are supported, as we mentioned, the ads in the show. TNR Tape. We love TNR Tape. If you're wondering about it at all, go to tnrtape.com and check it out. I think you will be pleasantly surprised and really, really like it. And Grimpeur Brothers, coffee drinkers. Check out GrimpeurBrothers.com. We have 2 coffees that support the network, the Full Schleck and Hello Cyclocross Friends, which is actually an espresso, which I just had this morning again, and it was wonderful. So check out those 2 coffees. If you buy some of those, it's another way to say thank you to Grimpeur Brothers for being huge ambassadors of cyclocross, and it's a way to say thank you to the network and the shows that you're listening to, as we get a little bit from that as well. All right. Get in on that Grimpeur Brothers contest on Instagram. Get those pictures up as soon as possible. Do not wait on this one, because by the next show, we will pick a winner. And you're going to get some free coffee, which you are going to love for first through third. So that's the thing. You don't even have to be like the top one that gets the most likes or that gets the random thing. You get all top 3 get some coffee. So it's just really, really cool, and we thank Grimpeur Brothers for doing that. So get in on that. I think we usually have a ton of fun with that. We got World Championships coming up. We got one more World Cup this weekend, of course, and then we got World Championships coming up. So we'll be talking about that over on Crosshairs Radio as well. And yeah, I think that's it. I hope you guys are getting out there and riding. If it's not as cold wherever you are as it is here, guys and ladies. And if you are getting out there and riding, as always, be careful out there, everybody, and take care of each other out there. And until next time, the bike shop is closed.